New this morning, a man was taken to the hospital after being stabbed. It happened a little after... Oh, sorry, can we start over? I'm sorry, I didn't...
Just go ahead and go, you're fine.
Okay.
Just start right there.
It happened a little after... a little before. It happened a little before 11:30 last night at a home in the 500 block of 30th Street in Huntington. Cabell County dispatchers tell us the man was taken to a hospital, but his condition is unknown. The Huntington Police Department is investigating. A mudslide has left people with no way out of their neighborhood, and it's not the first time they're going through this. It's happening in Logan County in Lynburn, and as News Channel 3's Olivia Fictu reports, neighbors say it's because of some cut trees placed on top of a mountain.
This mudslide in Lynburn is the second one since July 4th.
You feel like a trapped rat.
Tommy Burris and his neighbors are frustrated and say this is the only way to get in and out. Some people can't even go to work.
You lose money. There's been a lot of them down here lost money on jobs because they can't get out to it.
We reached out to the State Division of Highways to ask about the project or get an update on when they expected it to be fixed. At this point, we haven't heard back from them. We have an update to a deadly crash on the West Virginia Turnpike. West Virginia State Police say Ivan Konobrowski was heading north near the Cleland exit about 11 o'clock Wednesday night. He lost control of his tractor trailer on the wet roads, crashed through a concrete barrier, crossed the southbound lanes, and landed on some railroad tracks below the highway. He was 31 years old and from Elmwoods Park, Illinois. Charges will not be filed against a woman who dropped her newborn twins off at the hospital. Troopers say they found the twins' mother yesterday morning. The woman, who is from Mingo County, told workers at the hospital at Welch that someone left the children on her porch. Turns out the woman was actually the twins' mother. She told troopers she didn't think she could care for them and wanted them to have a good home. The twins are now in protective custody. There are some new officers hitting the streets of Capital City. 6 new officers were sworn in at Charleston City Hall yesterday morning. 3 of them will head to the State Police Academy Institute to start training next week. 2 of them are coming from other departments in Kanawha Valley. The 6th is Eva Mays. She left the force in 2011 to take care of her family. We caught up with Mays, and she said she missed helping the community. There are now 160 officers with the Charleston Police Department. That leaves 3 vacant positions. The contractor at the center of tree cutting controversy in Kanawha County is speaking out. Russell Bowen and his crew were out of the Coonskin Park in Charleston yesterday morning, laying grass seed. His company has been working in the park to clean up from last summer's damaging derecho winds. Bowen has been accused of cutting healthy trees. He says that is not true. He did sell some of the lumber because he had an agreement with Park Director Jeff Hutchison.
I was trying to help the park because nobody'd come in here. It's one of the jobs that a lot of people don't want to take, and they just couldn't seem to get anybody to help them. So no, I don't think I'd change anything because we did exactly what we were supposed to do.
However, Bowen did admit he is not a licensed contractor, but does have a license to log trees. He says his crew has been trying to clean up, but the weather has been too bad. He also plans to pave and patch the park road once the weather gets better. A father and son in Charleston are facing more charges after they were busted for meth. Deputies now say James Jones and his son Cody were also selling meth out of a house in Kirby Hollow Road. They were originally arrested last week after they were pulled over on Oakhurst Drive. Police found a backpack filled with meth in their van. Both men were taken to the South Charleston Central Regional Jail. Now to a health alert that forced some workers at the state capitol in Charleston to stay home today. This is a story we broke out right here on News Channel 3. A worker with the Department of Education is suspected to have contracted Legionnaire's disease. News Channel 3's Lauren Schmall has the details.
There's a bit of a cloud over Building 6 of the state capitol complex. But this cloud has nothing to do with the weather.
I've noticed a lot of people are Purelling and wiping and kind of cleaning.
An employee of the State Department of Education has come down with a serious infection health experts say could be Legionnaire's disease. It's a bacterial infection of the lungs that's not spread person to person. Instead, it's contracted through contact with contaminated water. Because the source of the infection has not yet been identified.
In fact, Dr. Bixler says about 20% of us have been exposed to Legionella, enough to have antibodies built up against it. The people who are most susceptible to the contraction Legionnaires are folks with weakened immune systems, diabetes, lung disease, or those who smoke. Health officials do not believe the source of the Legionella is actually in Building 6 at the Capitol. Several cases of Legionnaire's disease are reported in Kanawha County every year. Last year, the Kanawha-Charleston Health Department dealt with 5 confirmed cases of the illness. In 2011, 3 were 8 cases. And in 2010, 3 cases were reported. The numbers for this year aren't available. Coming up, spring is long gone, but Huntington's in bloom. And it has nothing to do with its seasons. It's about a contest with national recognition. The city of Huntington is in the midst of a national competition. There are judges in town right now looking at the beautification efforts to make the city shine. You may notice the signs around that say Huntington's in bloom, and as News Channel 3's Bill Murray reports, the goal is simple: to get people to take notice and have a sense of their pride in their community.
Welcome to Huntington.
Barbara. Thank you.
Yes, I'm sure you've heard it many times today, but welcome again.
The River City of Huntington getting special guests the next 2 days,
As we renovate this building.
showcasing the best of what the city has to offer to judges who are taking notes and taking pictures to document and compare Huntington's beautification efforts.
When you plant flowers, you realize that you're caring for a place.
The city is in competition.
The judges will submit recommendations on how to take most of those beautification efforts in the months to come. The winner of the competition will be announced later this summer. To learn more about how you can help with the beautification efforts on your own block and your own property, head over to the web channel at WSAZ.com to learn about the In Bloom project. Coming up on News Channel 3 Wake Up, the story of a squirrel that has developed a taste for cars.
There's a few things that you need to know if you're transplanting in your landscape one tree or shrub from one spot to the other.
WSAZ News Channel 3 Wake Up.
The time is now 10:16. One Florida family was living in fear and thought they were being targeted by vandals. But as it turns out, the culprit was a squirrel. And as John Shaman reports, that squirrel has a very healthy appetite.
On Sunday morning, Nora Ziegler spotted something wrong with her SUV.
I saw first this hole.
She called Martin County deputies.
They asked me if I have any enemies. I say no.
Later,
There's a product known as rodent tape, which is designed to protect car wiring and insulation from rodents and squirrels. The price you pay at the pump is expected to spike over the next several days, jumping 10 to 20 cents per gallon. Industry experts blame rising oil prices and demand during this peak driving season. The national average for Wednesday of this week was $3.50 for a gallon of gas, but experts are predicting the average to jump to $3.60 or $3.70 in some areas. Of doing things. The Oregon legislature voted recently to have a commission study a proposal that would allow students to attend state schools with no money down. The plan is called Pay It Forward. Students would pay back a percentage of their salary for about 25 years after their graduation to pay for future students. Thanks for watching News Channel 3 Wake Up. Stay with us. News Channel 3 Sunrise is next. Welcome back. I'm Kara Cusin. Here are the top stories. Route 152 between Huntington and Wayne is now back open due to traffic. A deputy was injured in the crash. His cruiser hit a garbage truck a little after 4 o'clock this morning. The truck began leaking hydraulic fluid that led to a long cleanup. The deputy was taken to the hospital with minor injuries. They haven't released his name nor his condition yet. The garbage truck was crossing 152 at the hill just south of Lafayette when the cruiser hit the broadside. The cruiser was badly damaged in the crash. West Virginia Department of Education has come down with a serious infection. Experts say it could be Legionnaire's disease. It's a bacterial infection of the lungs, contracted through contact with contaminated water. Because the source of the infection hasn't been identified yet, some employees on the 3rd floor of the building, 6 at the state capitol, have been asked to work from home this week. They have not closed the whole building to the state business. A young boy's body was found inside a Braxton County home. Troopers say they found the 8-year-old boy wrapped up inside a blanket. and they say his body has been decaying. It happened on Salt Lick Road in Sutton. Troopers arrested the boy's mother, Valerie Brown, after making the disturbing discovery during a welfare check. Troopers say Brown tried to turn them away at first, claiming her son wasn't home. They say she later let him inside if they promised, quote, not to hurt him. The mom has now been taken to the jail while they figure out what has happened inside the house. We'll send you back to the Today Show. Welcome back. I'm Kara Keeson. Here are the top stories. A young boy's body was found inside a Braxton County home. Troopers say they found the 8-year-old boy wrapped inside a blanket, and they say his body has been decaying. It happened on Salt Lick Road in Sutton. Troopers arrested the boy's mother, Valerie Brown, after making the disturbing recovery during a welfare check. Troopers say Brown tried to turn them away at first, claiming her son wasn't home. They say she later let them inside if they promised, quote, not to hurt him. An employee at the West Virginia Department of Education has come down with a serious infection. Experts say it could be Legionnaire's disease. It's a bacterial infection of the lungs, contracted through contact with contaminated water. Because the source of infection hasn't been identified yet, some employees on the 3rd floor of Building 6 of the state capitol have been asked to work from home this week. Night on Oakwood Road, exit of Interstate 64. No word yet on injuries or what caused that crash, but it made a mess of the evening drive through Charleston. A woman charged in a fatal crash has been made a plea in this case and will serve a year on home confinement. Tanika Jones was charged with misdemeanor negligent homicide for a crash that happened in Huntington in May 2011. It was on the East-West 17th Street Bridge. Dwayne Lawson from Gallipolis died in the crash. A man was taken to the hospital after being stabbed in Huntington a little before 11 o'clock last night at a home in the 500 block of the 30th Street. Cabell County dispatchers say the man was taken to the hospital, but they didn't release his name. 2 people were busted for making meth in Kanawha County. It happened in Elkview in the 900 block of Polka Fork Road about 8:30 last night. Donnie Gooding and Brittany Bridewell are in the South Central Regional Jail. Have a great day. Good morning, I'm Kara Keeson. Here's what's making headlines this morning. A young boy's body was found inside a Braxton County home. Troopers say they found the 8-year-old boy wrapped inside a blanket, and they say his body has been decaying. It happened on Salt Lick Road in Sutton. Troopers arrested the boy's mother, Valerie Brown. Brown tried to turn them away at first, claiming her son wasn't home. They say she later let them inside if they promised, quote, not to hurt him. A sheriff's deputy was injured in a crash this morning in Wayne County. This is on the hill just south of Lafayette. A cruiser and a garbage truck collided. The truck began leaking hydraulic fluid and kept Route 152 closed for several hours. It is now open. More news in an hour on News Channel 3 Midday.